Well, hello everyone. It's Kari here again with you today, sharing a couple of cute Koality Valentines. I'm so excited to be using some of these Heffy Doodle products today. This one is the Love is Everywhere stencil, and then I have the Build a Bamboo stencil. We're going to be using both of those, and a few dies here. This one here is the stitched rectangle dies, and this is the mini essentials dies. We're going to be using quite a few out of that one. And then of course I've got this Koality Hugs. Look how cute these are. They're so cute and so much fun. I'm going to be using a couple of those and a couple sentiments so we can make our Valentines today. So let's get started. I'm going to start off by using a blending brush to slowly add some color here to some cardstock. This is Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just slowly building up that color by adding a little bit at a time using this blending brush here. I like to start off the edge and then ink on slowly so I get a nice kind of a ombre look here. I am going to add a little bit more color to that later, but for now that's pretty good. And now I'll just go ahead and clean off my surface so we can add our paste. So I've lined up the bamboo so that I get a lot of it across the bottom, and you can see I have it kind of up a little bit further than where it starts because I know I'm going to cut this panel down just a little bit. So I've started a little bit above where I started the inking, and I'm going to put a piece of paper just under this so I don't get any on my work surface. So I'm using here some paper glaze, and this color is so beautiful. And then look at this, it's going to create a beautiful design in our background, and it just catches the light so beautifully. It almost looks like it has some mica in there. And then I'm going to take this other stencil, which is the Love is Everywhere, and I'm going to tape that onto my paper and create a beautiful design. You can see that I've already used this stencil. This is what I like to do, is start off with yellow in the center and go out further than I think, and then ink the pink on over that yellow so you get a pink, an orange, and a yellow. So where they meet up, they turn into a beautiful combination there. It's kind of a peachy orange. It's really pretty. We're going to cut that down a little bit later. Now I'm going to use this beautiful alcohol marker friendly cardstock from Heffy Doodle. I am really loving this for Copic coloring or alcohol marker coloring. So I'm going to show you how I colored up one of these koalas. I used the same colors on both, so I'm just going to show you the one here, starting out with some E57 and E55 for the branch. This is very simple Copic coloring. I am just kind of blending those a little bit. And now I'll move on to the leaves. I'm using some lighter greens, but then I go in with a little darker green because I thought it needed a little more contrast. So I've got YG05 and YG03, and then I bring in the I believe it's G09. And then I'll blend that through just a little. For this critter, I am using some warm grays. I'm starting with W5 and then blending that out with W3. And then I'll go in with W1. And I actually do this a couple of times because as I blended through, I felt like it got a little too light. So I wanted to darken things up by going over it one more time. So you'll see that after I do this the first time and I color the whole koala, then I go back again with all the same colors. So you'll see that here in just a minute. I'm working on his face and his ears now. And I am going to bring in some pink for the center of his ears. And here's where I go back through with all of those colors once again. So I'm just darkening everything up, going through the same blending scenario with the darkest, then the medium color, and then the light. And I think this really gives him a good look. I like this color for a koala. As we finish up coloring this koala, I'm thinking about his nose, and I think they're black. So I'm actually going to bring in an N7, which is a really dark gray, and I'm leaving a small highlight there. I hope you can see that. I zoomed in to try to help you to see that, and I'll go around it a little bit more with that N7 and then the N5, leaving that highlight up at the top. So that looks really cute, like he's got a little bit of sunlight coming down on him. He does look kind of comfy on that branch, doesn't he? Here's the pink. I used R81 and blended that through with R01. And now our background is dry, so I'm going to ink on some of those bamboo leaves just in a few spots here and there. I'm using the same color of Distress Oxide ink as before, just going in with a detail brush and adding some leaves. This is really simple. I want to make sure I add them where they're not going to get covered up by my focal image. So I'm just adding a few where I think they're going to show up the best. Now I'm going to cut a square out of the hearts background that we made earlier. I'm using the Mini Essentials dies, and that smallest square in the center is what I'm using for this portion. So I'll just tape it on using some Heffy tape, cut out a couple of those, and there we're ready for cutting the outline as well. So here you can see there's one just a little bit bigger. This one has a bit of a serrated edge to it. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to try to hold it up a little bit more, but I'm going to use some Heffy Doodle cardstock. I have this beautiful package here with a variety of colors. I love that they have a variety pack of their cardstocks to try. I'm going to use this bright pink for this one. I am going to cut that out using the serrated edge here. I took that to my die cut machine, and here I'm trying to show you that edge. It's kind of hard to see on camera. It is just a little bit of that edge. It looks really cool anyway. So that's going to look great on our finished card. And here's where I decided I needed more of that bamboo design. So since this was already dry, I went ahead and added this to the opposite side of the cardstock as what we did before. See that? I'm going to let that dry before adding more leaves. But while I have this paper glaze out, I am going to add a bunch to this cardstock because I want to use this for my second card as the serrated edge square. So I'm just making sure I put enough down so that I'm able to cut that one out. Once this is completely dry, you definitely want to wait till that is fully dry before cutting it out. So while that is drying, I decided to go ahead and make one with some pinks as well. I'm using some paste that I have on hand. This one I have never used before, so I thought it was about time. But I was running out of patience, and I decided to go ahead and add it to the opposite side too. I'm trying to hold up that edge so that I don't smush the paste that I already put down. I do recommend allowing it to dry first before you add the second layer. But as I said, I wanted everything to be set aside to dry at the same time so I could finish these cards up for you. You can see I did squish a little bit in the center, but that's okay because I'm going to end up covering that up. Now I've cut out this fishtail banner from that same set, and here's where I'm going to ink on the sentiments. I chose for this one, Sending You Fuzzy Cuddles, and then this one is Sending You High Koality Hugs. Very, very cute. So this was dry, so I cut out that serrated edge there, and then I also took the circle and cut that out from the center. Because this is going to get covered up, you're never going to know that I cut that center out of using that same paper. But it also matches our bamboo in the background. So I thought it was a really, really great look for this to bring that color shine through. So I'll go ahead and start putting this one together. I did cut out the background circle with some black cardstock and then added that turquoise circle on the top that was made with the glaze. Now I'm going to layer everything up here, and those cute koalas that are hugging each other, I'm going to add with some foam tape. So that will give it even more dimension, and pop those up right on the front to be our focal point. They are so happy. So this is going to get added to that white piece that I also cut out using that same die. And then here is our banner that has the sentiment on it. I'm going to pop that up with foam tape as well. I'm using my tweezers to place this so that I don't get my fingers in the way, so I can get that right on center. And then everything else just gets glued down to the card base. I left a little bit of white around the edges. You can see I cut that down a little bit, And then I'll add this piece right to the middle, kind of up towards the top. And there we go. So this is going to be our card, and I'm using the same layout for the pink one. You can see that I did ink on the background like I did with the blue as well, but for the center circle I used some gold glitter paper. And I thought this looked really nice with that koala because it's kind of like a little sunset there. See, look at him taking a little nap. And again, I used the foam tape on the sentiment and on the little critter. Pop him up in the center to be our focal point. And then I put the rest together with liquid adhesive. So these cards are so great because that Essentials die there, the mini Essentials die there on the left, really does a lot of the work for you, helps you to layer up your layers, and I just really think it works out great for these Valentines. I love the bamboo background as well because I think that adds just a really great design element. So here's a close-up look at our pink card there with that koala taking a nap, and here's our hugging koalas with the blue background. I hope you enjoyed these cards today. I really enjoyed making them with you. I hope you will give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. There's so many great designers sharing some cards as well, and I'll be back with more inspiration real soon. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.